Demon is at Harrenhal in the second episode of House of the Dragon. A youthful Rhaenyra sits on the throne in front of the prince, and High Valyrian reverberates off the empty walls. When she taunts Demon, he beheads her because his mind is still clouded by his past transgressions and the guilt he feels for Rhaenyra. Demon wakes up with a start and discovers a raven has come to get him. 2 castles have fallen since Aegon's army left King's Landing 2 weeks ago. Ser Criston, whose host is beginning to gain power, has both houses joined. Ser Simon is concerned that since they lack the manpower to stop Cole, he will likely focus on Harrenhal next. After hearing all of this, Demon focuses on Oscar Tully, the Riverrun heir. To hasten the process of turning the crown and enable the men to follow his, and thus Demon's, lead, he proposes that the small child kill his grandfather, but the child declines. Demon is not impressed, comparing his lack of activity to that of a fish without a head. He thinks the Blackwoods should arrive instead, ignoring Oscar. He requires action-oriented men. The Grand Maester delivers a gift, poison, to Alicent and leaves it in her room. Although Rhaenyra's confession from a Song of Ice and Fire continues to bother her, the Grand Maester makes it clear that Viserys never brought up the succession of the throne with him. The mixture that dropped off in Alicent's fist-clenching implied that she is carrying Cole's child and that this is her plan to get rid of the child before anyone finds out. Baela mentions Criston Cole's and the others' movements in Dragonstone in the meantime. Having not heard from Demon, and with an army that is expanding daily, everyone in the council is getting agitated. They feel lost and quarrel with one another since Rhaenyra is at King's Landing and isn't with them. Even worse, one of them shoots potshots at Rhaenys. Luckily, Lord Corlys arrives and chastises them. They must have faith that Rhaenyra will put the council's actions in the proper perspective. And that results from, in one way or another, resolving this conflict. With the Targaryens in disarray, the strength of Criston Cole and his family is increasing daily. Although there are still dissident voices within the group, Cole makes an effort to eliminate them. In fact, he takes a major choice to ride northeast, away from Harrenhal, instead of toward it, upon the arrival of a raven. This, as we discover later, was a communication from Aemond. He is advancing on Rook's Rest, a fortified stronghold. Nevertheless, by seizing it, Dragonstone will be totally surrounded by land. All of this is a part of the larger scheme, which Aegon the Magnanimous has not seen and Aemond, and all his knowledge, has. The council feels uneasy that Aemond and Criston Cole have collaborated on this project behind closed doors, but it soon becomes apparent that more is going on when Aemond speaks in High Valyrian. He betrays the king's honor, ostensibly as retaliation for his taking a dump at the brothel. Aemond is a formidable opponent who stares his brother down, making him unable to respond in Valyrian. It's obvious that the power dynamics are changing. When Larys arrives to meet Alicent later, she is inspected by our new Master of Whisperers, who points out the empty bottle and challenges her stance on Criston Cole and her sudden interest in the realm's past. It's obvious that Alicent is investigating Viserys' allegations and Aegon the Conqueror. The way Larys jumps into this, attempting to bait Alicent into erring while she negotiates this verbal minefield, is what's really intriguing, though. The most important declaration is made by Alicent after the conclusion of this back-and-forth fighting, when she notes that the significance of Viserys' intentions died with him and that a throne battle had begun. Alice Rivers seems to have a plan up her sleeve, but Demon is still plagued by the past and they have an interesting conversation. After some back and forth, she tells him that Harrenhal is haunted and makes him a drink. And Demon finds himself in the meeting room with the Blackwoods representative as soon as he wakes up. We'll have to wait and see if this brief period of time loss indicates that Alice's drink was tampered with, although that seems unlikely. The Blackwoods swear loyalty, but only after Demon totally destroys the Brackens. As Alicent pursues her mission, she discovers that Aegon had Viserys' old books taken down while searching for them. Given that his Kingsguard has zero intelligence or knowledge, it is ironic that this child will purge any remnant of it from the rooms. The King's Guard exit the chamber in a fantastic scenario as they march in the incorrect direction and collide with one another. Although it's not even brought up in the discourse, it's an excellent method to emphasize Aegon's ridiculous reign. When her son storms into the chamber like a spoiled teenager, Alicent, at her wit's end, berates him. When Alicent calls Aegon out on his pettiness, the narcissist gets a harsh wake-up call and stops whining that his thoughts are not being heard. She urges him to do something that is extremely challenging for our child king to do, since she is furious with him for the sacrifices she made to place him on the throne. Nothing. He can't do much from King's Landing, though, because the wheels have already started turning. Rhaenyra heads back to her council as Cole gets ready to ride on and take Rook's Rest by day. After bringing them up to date on her encounter with Alicent, Jacaerys queries her about her whereabouts and discovers the awful circumstances they find themselves in. The play on rooks is known to half the council. Jacaerys is eager to enlist his dragon in the endeavor to bring the dragons out of hiding and inspire those residing on Dragonstone to take decisive action. With a sly smile, Rhaenyra expresses her desire to spare no more sons from this fight. Rhaenys decides to go confront Cole head-on and leaps into action. When Rhaenyra is by herself, she talks to Jacaerys about a secret that has been passed down from king to heir since the days of Aegon the Conqueror. The tale claims that the Targaryen who ascends to the Iron Throne is destined to lead the Seven Kingdoms and bring them together against a common enemy, but she wasn't sure she believed it herself. Rhaenyra was chosen by Viserys to be this protector, but she is unwilling to go to battle without a good reason and the fervor to support it. While it appears that the war will engulf all, Rhaenyra informs him about Aegon the Conqueror's dream. Not only Rhaenys, but others also ride dragons to battle. Actually, Aegon decides to interact with his dragon, Sunfire, after growing tired of just lounging around. Criston Cole seems unfazed by Rhaenys' appearance atop her dragon and gestures to the skies with two fiery arrows. Aemond had been waiting for this chance to attack in the woods with his enormous dragon, Vhagar. As Aegon arrives, the men are energized by Criston Cole's powerful speech, which claims that everything was predetermined and that the king has joined them in this battle. The fight genuinely changes when Vhagar appears, even if Rhaenys wins by wounding Aegon's dragon and spitting blood. When Aemond yells, Dracarys, Aegon is destroyed along with Rhaenys and her dragon in a flame. After emerging alive, Rhaenys chooses to fight back while soaring over the coastline. She seems to be aware that this might be her last time by the glance she gives her dragon. Criston Cole, a rider for Aegon and his dragon, is also brought down along with Vhagar. Despite Rhaenys' size, Vhagar manages to sneak up on him when he soars through the heavens once more, and both the dragon and Rhaenys fall to the earth lifeless.